What's up, everyone? Phoebe's Journey is back. I know I've been MIA, but I've been busy surviving. Today's episode 3 is a wild one. From brutal 8-hour night shifts and toxic workplace betrayals to a road in Binduong so cursed it still gives me nightmares. Trust me, you are not ready for this. Buckle up. Let's dive in. Ever wonder how a shirt is made? It all starts here, at the Evergreen factory. Imagine raw, fluffy cotton balls being thrown into cotton hell. These 5 massive, roaring machines shred, comb, stretch, and spin them at breakneck speed until they become thread. It's a chaotic factory ballet, from raw tree cotton to massive containers of thread heading out to the world. It looks satisfying, but trust me, managing this beast was a nightmare. My job as a lab tech, I was the quality gatekeeper. Every hour, I had to grab a 100-gram handful of cotton to check the machines. My 8-hour shift meant 8 rounds of testing. If the machines were smooth, I had 30 minutes to crash. But here's the trap. If a machine glitched, just one, my break was gone. I'd be stuck, troubleshooting for hours, recalibrating everything to keep the quality perfect. I was constantly half awake, half asleep, just clinging to my sanity. And the workers? Absolute menaces. They'd watch me, waiting for me to turn my head, just to steal my password so they could restart the machines themselves and skip the protocols. It was a constant game of cat and mouse. And yeah, some nights I was so exhausted, I'd just pass out, wake up, and creatively generate the test data to finish my shift. Hey, don't judge. You try working those loops and see if you stay sane. I moved to Binduong City with zero cash in my pocket. A friend offered to let me stay, but I was just a human shield. She was living with her boyfriend and needed me there to stop her family from gossiping. I lived on the loft, and it was awkward. Every night I'd hear them downstairs, and I was too embarrassed to even go to the bathroom. And the bills? They ate 3 huge meals a day while I was living on soy sauce and rice because I couldn't stand their fish dishes. They lived like kings, and I was paying half the rent. After my first paycheck of 800,000 Vietnamese dong, I knew I had to run. I moved to a tiny room 40 minutes away. I didn't have a bike, so a coworker who had a crush on me let me borrow his. I lived off instant noodles for 2 months, 2 packs a night. I was so thin, I looked like a piece of dried seafood. When I finally rejected his confession, he snatched his bike back. Talk about petty. I had to move again. Things finally started looking up when my best friend Rosie joined me. She had left home after a massive fallout with her parents, and honestly, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. We were 2 girls against the world. But before that, remember my toxic roommates? I couldn't take it anymore. So I moved out and lived in a tiny room alone for a while. Then I decided to move back to the same area as those old roommates, but this time I rented room number 4. I kept to myself, always closing the door, only opening it when I cooked instant noodles so the smell would drift out. Meanwhile, my 2 old roommates were still there, and I heard they were planning to get married. The guy's family was from the north and super strict. They didn't want him to be with her, but they persisted, and even had 2 kids. In the end, they had a happy ending. As for me, in room 4, I was surviving on my own with just an electric kettle, but once Rosie moved in, everything changed. She'd handle the home cooking while I worked. We split the chores. I'd wash the dishes, she'd handle the laundry. And for the first time, I felt like I was actually living. I was making 1.9 million Vietnamese dong a month, which was a fortune back then. And with Rosie by my side, life finally felt perfect. Little did I know, the drama and the darkness were just waiting around the corner. But life in room 4 didn't stay peaceful for long. The drama started at work. My manager tried to turn me into a rat, asking me to spy on my coworkers to find excuses to find them. I told my bestie, Jenny, a girl I used to borrow a bike from, that I wasn't feeling it. I thought I was confiding in a friend. But she backstabbed me. She ran straight to the manager and told everyone I was the one planning to sabotage them. I was dragged into a massive meeting, faced with my manager and the entire floor of workers. They grilled me, demanding to know why I do that. I looked them straight in the eye and said, I never said that. Bring me the person who told you this. And then the door opened and Jenny walked in. I was stunned. I looked at her and blurted out, oh my God. I stood my ground against that whole room, alone. That night, Rosie picked me up and I finally broke down. We sobbed in our room, not in front of them, but in the safety of our home. I realized I couldn't rely on anyone else's bike, so I forced myself to learn how to ride my own. That was my way of taking back control, but that wasn't the end of it. During the rainy season, the road to the factory became a living hell. Thousands of earthworms crawled out of the ground, covering the road like a wriggling carpet of flesh. Every day, as Rosie and I rode our motorbike past, we felt them wriggling under our wheels, and I felt like I was going to run over some of them instead of avoiding them. It was disgusting. Until one day, a dramatic event occurred. A young man working at the factory arrived to collect his salary in his shorts. The security guards were cruel. They chased him away, telling him to go home and change his clothes or he wouldn't get paid. He was just a kid, desperately in need of money. Terrified, he rode home, and on the way, crash. A car hit him. He died instantly, crushed on the road, covered in worms. From that day on, the road was cursed. A lottery ticket vendor, a woman who walked that road every day, started behaving strangely. She not only predicted things, but she was also possessed. Her voice trailed off, her eyes rolled back, and she screamed, "This factory will burn down today! And this road? It's starving! Every month we have to pay the price with a girl's life to collect road tolls." Right then, Rosie's parents in Ho Chi Minh City called and told us to come back to Saigon. They had just opened an internet cafe for Rosie, and her job was simply to sit there and collect money from customers. Rosie immediately turned to me and said, "Phoebe, come back with me. You don't have a car to get to work, and you're so scary, you'll die." At that time, I actually had a job, friends, and a position in Bin Duong. But faced with reality and the fear of death, I decided to give up everything, pack my bags, and return to Ho Chi Minh City with Rosie. So, that's how my 1.5-year journey in Bin Duong, filled with blood, tears, instant noodles, and legit ghost stories, officially comes to a close. What's next for me back in Saigon? You'll have to find out in episode 4. Thank you all so much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe to @Phoebe Journey so you don't miss the next drama-packed episode. Bye-bye.